trying to understand Absalom rebellion. It's so interesting. Um, Absalom rebellion. It was written in 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 18, and that it was one of the most tragic stories in the Bible. And it is about the family conflict, ambition, justice, forgiveness, and the consequences of sin. Um, Absalom was the David's third son, and he was known for his exceptional appearance. It's written in Samuel, in all Israel there was not a man so highly praised for his handsome appearance as Absalom. And the rebellion did not begin suddenly. It developed over several years because of the family crisis. Absalom's sister Tamar was sexually assaulted by their half-brother Amnon, and David became very angry but did not punish him, Amnon. Feeling that justice had not been done, Absalom waited 2 years and had Amnon killed. Afterward, Absalom fled into exile. Absalom returns. David eventually allowed Absalom to return to Jerusalem, but for a long time he refused to see him, his son. Although they were eventually reconciled outwardly, their relationship was never fully restored. This resolved conflict helped create resentment in Absalom. So, Absalom steals the heart of Israel. After that, instead of launching immediate military revolt, Absalom patiently built political support. And every morning he stood near the city gate, greeting people warmly, listened to their legal disputes, and suggested that if he were king, everyone would receive justice. And this was calculated political campaign. And about the rebellion, Absalom went to Hebron and secretly declared himself king. Many Israelites joined him. David chose to leave Jerusalem rather than fight in the city, which could have caused many civilian deaths. Even while fleeing, David trusted God rather than rely on military strength. He prayed that God would frustrate the advice of Ahithophel. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Ahithophel, and Absalom's wise counselor, and God answered that prayer. And after we see the Absalom's death, David instructed his commanders. It's written in 2 Samuel chapter 18, verse 5. Deal gently for my sake with the young man Absalom. David wanted his son spared, even though Absalom was leading a rebellion. And during the battle, Absalom fled on an animal, a mule, through a forest, and his head, or according to many interpreters, his long hair became caught in the branches of a large oak tree. He was left hanging helplessly while the mule ran on. And Joab, David's military commander, found him. Even though David had ordered that Absalom be spared, Joab believed that Absalom remained a dangerous threat to the kingdom. Joab thrust 3 spears into Absalom, and his armor bearers finished killing him. His body was thrown into a pit and covered with a large heap of stones. And David's reactions. When David heard the news, he was devastated. One of the most heartbreaking verses in scriptures says, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom, if only I had died instead of you. Oh, Absalom, my son, my son." David grieved not because he had lost a political rival, but because he had lost his son. And what were some theological lessons here? Sin has lasting consequences. David's sin with Bathsheba and Uriah had been forgiven, but Nathan had warned him that violence would affect his own household. Absalom's rebellion is part of that fulfillment. and resolved injustice can lead to greater sin. David failed to deal decisively with Amnon's crime. Absalom responded with the revenge instead of trusting God to bring justice. And pride leads to destructions. Absalom sought power and glory for himself. His ambitions ultimately led to his death. God keeps his promises. Although David's kingdom was shaken, God preserved the Davidic line. This points forward to Jesus Christ, the promised descendants of David, whose kingdom will never end. Father's love can remain despite the rebellion. David never stopped loving Absalom. His grief illustrated the deep love a father can have for a rebellious child. Many Christians also see in this reflection, though imperfect, of God's compassionate hearts towards sinners who have turned away from him. And Absalom's story is both uh, warning and the lesson in hope. Rebellion against God's order brings destructions, but God's covenant purpose continues despite human failure. God bless you. Anyway.